It is still this morning on ITV, bringing us to a talking point where we'll be looking at the plan by the federal government to sanction airing foreign carrier that refuses to collect our own currency, naira. So, and of course, to look at what it has done on the areas of releasing about $265 million, of course, money actually owned by these foreign airlines. Yes, and have been tracked, and we've seen so many calls by these foreign agencies on the Central Bank of Nigeria not to waste time in releasing the, their money. And we saw Hardis Rika, the Minister of Aviation, yesterday talking about on these issues. First, this amount of money has been released. Second, any airline that refuse to collect naira, they will be sanctioned. We made it clear that yes, it's a Pareto optimal thing. They benefit, but they benefit more because the market is there. And to do this is a man. You all know him. He's a friend of the media. Has been crisscrossing most of the notable stations, and you've seen his publication in various papers talking about aviation and how Nigeria can get it right. He believes the airplane is a faithful machine, but when you see it fall off the sky, it's as a result of human error. He was an aviation freak until, of course, some experts, aviation experts, came together and said, you can't continue to be a freak. You are now an aviation researcher and publisher. And we also saw him in that very massive ICAO conference in 2017, where he was there live, and recently the aviation conference held, he was also there. So when it comes to the issue of aviation, he has seen it all, and he's just doling out this information free of charge. I'm talking about your very good friend, Godwin Pitu. Very good morning.
Hi, good morning, Joe. My dear viewers out there, please welcome to the program.
So let us start by looking at the decision by the federal government to order NACA, I beg your pardon, well, it's agencies to ensure that any airline that refuses to
You're talking about NCAA?
NCAA.
Yeah.
It's about
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that NCAA must ensure that any foreign airline that refuses to collect naira as payment for tickets should be sanctioned.
Oh yeah, Joe, that is the sweetest thing I have heard from the mouth of Honorable Minister Hadi Serika this year. But one thing is to say it, another is to follow through and make sure that every letter and every word he pronounced would be adhered to, and if not adhered to, enforced. So that will really make it sweeter. We've been taken for granted for too long by foreign airlines, and to tell you the truth, there's nowhere in the world the foreign airliners that come to Nigeria make the kind of money they make in Nigeria. Joe, quote me anytime, anywhere. It doesn't exist anywhere. Nigeria is an awesome country. Everything is just right here. The reason we are going through the experiences we are going through at the moment is that we have refused as a nation and as a people to kill corruption and redistribute the wealth of this nation for the benefit of citizens. If we were to do that, believe you me, the whole world will be yearning to come here. This is a blessed land. And so, it's my hope that Honorable Hadi Serika and his team we follow through and enforce their threat should any airline misbehave. You know, Joe, these airlines know where they do the kind of things they do, such as they do in Nigeria. Elsewhere, they don't misbehave. And the reason is that we are also not doing as well as we should in the judicial arm of our government. Our judiciary must sit up. You know, law enforcement and as well as you know, trial of cases take unnecessarily too long a time, so long that it's as good as that justice is not dispensed. And so the foreigners that have gotten used to our system take us for granted. Let me give you an example of an experience. I've shared this before, but for the benefit of those who didn't hear at that time, let them hear this. I paid a visit to Houston, Texas in the United States of America a couple of years back. If you remember that story. And we were to return to Nigeria. I don't want to mention the name of the airline, but it turned out that the oil, you know, annually, oil magnates around the world assemble in Texas, in the United States, for their conference. And so it happened that the flight I was booked in, and a whole lot of other people were booked there, had been taken up by those you know, conferencing men and women who were due to return home on that day. And so, for some strange reasons, the airline gave away our seats, you know, to those oil magnates who were traveling all over the world back to their destinations. Joe, as I walked up to the counter and others that, you know, that were affected, what we had were very civilized, gentle men and women, you know, smiling and saying to us, please bear with us. Please bear with us. This plane is full. We're going to get you a voucher. You're going to be in a free hotel. You're going to have your, you know, lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Transportation to the hotel free, and transportation back to the airport tomorrow morning to catch another flight free. And to cap it all up, 900 euros for the inconvenience of preventing you from flying, you know, the previous night. Joe, it was sweet money. I took my voucher, got to the European, you know, destination of the airline. Like I said, I don't want to mention the name of the airline. I'm not here to advertise anyone. And I turned in my voucher. 900 euros were counted and given to me, real life, cash. I didn't ask for, but I was entitled to. Joe, the same airline, if you were to do the same thing here in Nigeria, would not talk to any Nigerian or any passenger for that matter operating here. The idea is the idea is nothing wrong.
For
the law and enforcement. For instance, if anyone were to sit back and say, no, I'm not going to have this nonsense, and sue the airline, it won't be a question of come today, come tomorrow. Instantly, the court will hear it. Instantly, the court will make a decision, because the law is clear and, you know, unambiguous and very clear and straight and clean to everyone. A decision will be made, and guess what? The airline will pay through its nose for you know, daring to do such a thing, and what it will cost them will send them bankrupt, and they know it. For instance, I got 900 euro, for instance, and then if you add all the hotel bills and call it maybe 1,500 in total, or 2,000 euros, just call it that. But Joe, if I were to sue them in Texas, if I were to spend one more week to sue them and get a judgment, I could walk away with anywhere between $5 to $10 million. Because I will tell them the horrendous.
If you are not compensated.
That's correct. If they won't even wait for me to complain. I want you to get the picture I'm painting. They wouldn't wait for me to complain. As soon as I got to the counter to check in, this beautiful smiling lady said, go the Ike. Go, you know, that's how they call my name in the US. Ike is Ike to them. So, go the Ike. I'm so sorry. Yes, you were booked on this flight, but to tell you the truth, this flight is full. And you're not going to travel today, but just be calm. You know, we'll make you comfortable. Everything will go well. If you give me just a few minutes, I'll get you all your vouchers, and that's how I stepped aside in a few minutes. I didn't have to, you know, bang on anybody's table. I didn't have to say, hey, you're wasting my time. Everybody was walking, and I wasn't alone. We were almost 50 of us, or 60 of us.
So in this case,
yeah,
what would you expect the federal government to do? Rather than giving this warning, this sanction, and ordering NCAA, if you see, deal with them, it means that they have heard it over and over again, and nothing happened, nothing was said.
That's why I said, if you remember how I started, excuse me, if you remember how I started, I said that was the sweetest thing I've ever heard in the mouth of Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika this year. Very well. Having said that, and then I added, it is my hope and wish that he will follow it through to ensure that it is enforced, and that if anyone is found culpable in breaching the law of the land, that such an individual should be reined in straight away, or the organization or airline or whoever it is, reined in and properly tried and judgment obtained. You see, Joe, we are taken for granted because we operate a system that is cumbersome and ineffective, especially in the judiciary. Our judicial system is not encouraging people to behave well. The reason an airline will so behave the way that airline in question behaved in that experience that I had in Houston, Texas, if the same thing were to have happened here in Nigeria, Joe, they will watch to see Nigerians make their usual noise and then step back, accept their fate, walk back into their cars and return to their various homes, only to come back the next day to maybe hear another story.
Or even if you choose to go to court.
Or if you choose to go to court, you stay there for the next 5 years, and you won't get judgment. So now put it on the balance and weigh. If I were to have taken out 1 week of my time and maybe pay for my own hotel bills and stay back there and sue the airline if they didn't make the offer that I accepted, for instance. Joe, if I file it today, it will be heard tomorrow. And the next day, the third day, there will be a decision. And the airline will be ordered to do something immediately. And if the airline were to say, oh no, we don't accept this judgment, we want to appeal, I say, okay, put down what we have asked you to pay with the court, and then you can go and appeal. And that,
if you win, you come and pick what you're...
That's right. If you lose, we'll pass it on to... At that point, I don't even need to stay back in the US. I take a copy of my judgment and return back to Nigeria and begin to monitor activities through their embassy here, and be sure if eventually they go through the whole hog of appeal and Supreme Court and they fail, I won't need to remind anyone. instantly, because the court would have known that I am no more in America and that I was only obeying law because I had a time limit to be there, and so I don't want to overstay. You know, they will call their embassy, who will also contact me with my local number and ask me how I want my money paid. That is where judiciary works. As a matter of fact, I have said this times with that number that the reason that we are all misbehaving as a people and as a nation is that the judiciary is not doing what it should do, and it's not revered, it's not feared even by foreigners. The belief is that a whole lot of things can always happen under the table.
So should we have a special court for this purpose? Because, you know, in the time past, I think it's between 2013 and 2014 when we had that passengers bill of rights. You remember?
Yes, of course I do.
So many rights there for the passenger, but enforcement is still a challenge. Yes.
Up until this moment.
Yes, you know. But if we have a special court for this purpose, to what extent do you think it?
Joe, how many special courts can you really establish? There are too many problems.
The problem with judiciary is the fact that the courts are limited. The number of judges are just handful. And that is why you see the dockets are so bulky, and a judge seat, if not for a public interest case or a political case, expedited hearing is not easy.
Joe, we're always making excuses as a nation and as a people, and I will always say this to anyone about isolation. We make too many and too much excuses. Joe, if we really want to straighten things out, if we really want to eschew corruption, and we want to have not just even only the judicial system, the systems of the country work in accordance with, you know, the desires and stipulation of the law. Joe, we can. The biggest problem that I see is that we seem to be so divided, and it doesn't seem that there is good enough belief in one nation that belongs to all of us, and that everyone can afford to be happy. You know, what I see around me, it's heart rendering, and honestly, Joe, we should pray that God gives us the kind of leadership that will bring us all back together to believe in our nation and work towards the development of this nation and ensure that things work well. Joe, you live in a nation where an individual opens up his or her window, sees a crime being committed. Rather than pick up a phone and call the police to say, hey, I am seeing something that is unacceptable going on here. Can you guys come and take charge and deal with it? The individual shuts the window and says, that concern, you know, concern me. And then something horrendous happens there. And that same individual who witnessed it, who should be able to help the police or any of the security agencies concerned to get to the root of the matter, will be asked, Oga or Madam, please, can you tell us, or did you get a video clip of what exactly transpired that led to this mess here? And I don't know anything, no, I know Sabi, I don't even see them, now I just hear them. Blunt lie. You see, it doesn't happen elsewhere. Even in some, African countries, such as the one that thrills me most when you talk about, some African countries that are, are doing well, is Rwanda. You remember the ugly massacre that took place in Rwanda. But go and check out that little country today to see how people are living. and to see how government is operating and to see how the law is there for everyone. Everyone, no matter how rich you are, everyone is beneath the law. But here, a few people are above the law. We can't go on this way, Joe. That is the mess. We can't. And so, let's not derail from what we are discussing. It is my hope that Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika and his team will follow through with this threat and rein in any airline that is misbehaving. The place to make money is here.
No, he made it clear, the minister made it clear that yes, they are offering services, we are benefiting from the services, but they benefit more. The market is there, it's clear. But if that is established, rather than ordering the NCAA to ensure this doesn't happen again, why can't we name and shame?
Oh, well.
The minister is supposed to read out the names of the airing foreign airlines and say, for these ones I have listed and others that we don't know, NCAA deal with them.
Good one. I'm really glad and excited. I am very glad and excited that your mind is working this way, Joe. Find time and invite Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika to this studio to talk to you. Find time, or reach out to him to his office with your camera and ask this same question. He alone can answer it. I don't want to speculate. He alone can answer this question.
Your friend. And you know how his mind works.
How do I want to answer this question? Yes, everyone in the aviation sector is supposed to be my friend because I love aviation and I have great passion for aviation, and I have dug so deep into the aviation sector that if this nation doesn't collect what is in this head concerning aviation at the fullness of time, when the Lord, my Creator, calls me back, I go with it. Yeah, do you get the point? Yes. So having said that, I would say yes. Everyone in the aviation sector is supposed to be my friend, but you see, Joe, there is also something else. I tell you the way it is, whether privately or publicly. I try not to insult anyone, even when I am punching the point as hard as I can in order to make it known that I feel strongly about this. But I've noticed that a few people like only praise singers and want to associate with praise singers. Joe, my lifestyle, if I find an individual that's supposed to be my friend praise singing, I write him or her off. Because as an adult that is sane, if I misbehave, I would know that I misbehaved. And if a friend that should tell me, oh Godwin, what was that you did? Come on, that was not right. I mean, please, I don't want to see you behaving this way, or I don't want to hear you talking like this, and all that kind of thing. Admonishment, isn't it? But I will respect and love that friend. That's a good friend. But if, as a sane adult that I am, Joe, if I misbehave at any time, either because of provocation or because of just sheer carelessness or whatever is the reason for that misbehavior, Joe, I would know as an adult and a sane human being that I misbehaved. So don't turn around and praise me. But a few people like to be praised even when they misbehave. And so, if they now make contact with somebody like me who will not shut up, who will say to you, Joe, come on, that was nonsensical. Why would you say a thing like that? Does it stop me from being your friend? But for some people, you're not your friend. So I've said it all. I don't want to say more.
Okay, now let's look at the other aspect where, of course, these foreign airlines have been promised not even really a promise that, of course, their trap money, $265 million, have been released by the CBN. At what point should we allow, these airlines to do a press conference or a press statement begging the government to release their trap money?
Well, Joe, you see, the French people, when things get out there, they say, il est très compliqué. Simply saying to you that it is extremely, very, very complicated. Now, Joe, we are part of what is creating this whole problem for the nation. Again, I wish you had the paper taking notes so that when you take your camera to Honorable Minister Harry Sirika, you ask a few questions such as one I will suggest to you. Find out from the Honorable Minister why we should have our airlines that are capable of crisscrossing these nations from one state to the other to move goods and services and human beings, up and down in order for the economy to roll. Ask him to tell us why foreign airlines, such as British Airways, Emirates, name them. Plenty of these foreign airlines come here. Why should they be giving multiple destinations in Nigeria when we have local airlines that they can partner with to move passengers to wherever they want to be? Who taught him that kind of aviation management? And here we are. I'll tell you another thing that will shock you. We have this awesome airline that is the pride of the nation today, Air Peace. I wish I wasn't an Igbo man to say what I want to say, because some awkward people out there will say, hell yeah, oh, why wouldn't he praise? Why wouldn't he talk like this? He's owned by his fellow Igbo man. I wish I wasn't one to say what I'm trying to say very sincerely. But I'm going to say it anyway, because a few bright minds are still out there listening. Joe, why would Air Peace not be allowed to land in London with almost 15 Boeing 777? You know the 777? That awesome, huge, and comfortable. I wish you find an opportunity to fly one day and you understand what I'm saying about the 777. He's got a whole lot of them in his kitty, and then he won't be allowed to land in London. And then British Airways will come here and have multiple destinations to land. If they choose to be in Abuja, they land. They choose to be in Lagos, they land. They choose to be in Port Harcourt, they land. And Joe, it is a very horrible way to run the aviation sector and hope that the local airlines will survive.
Is it the federal government responsibility?
Yes, it is. It
granted access.
Not just federal government, but the power of the Honorable Minister of Aviation to say, no, you can only have one destination. If you choose,
I'm talking about our own airline now landing in.
No, is that of British?
Yes.
Is that of the British government?
So, is he able to meet the standards, the criteria?
The thing is, yes, his planes are even newer than most of the British Airways planes. I understand that by the 15th of this month, more of those airlines are coming in. The 777. Brand new. I heard from the grapevine, and I'm looking forward to hearing that they've actually come in. I'm talking about Air Peace. They can compete with any airline in the world. But where is the opportunity that we are creating as a people and as a government? And the question I'm asking is, who taught the managers of our aviation sector that you should give foreign airlines multiple destinations in Nigeria when the local airlines that should be built up, that should be encouraged to be doing good business? Imagine, for instance, that British Airways is told, hey, you can only land in Abuja if you choose. Choose between Abuja and Lagos, or amongst, Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, where you want to land. We're giving you only one. Or even Kano. If they choose one, then they now make deals with local airlines. If somebody booked that, oh, I'm going to Port Harcourt from London, they say, okay, fine, you can fly with us. Already, Airpeace is there, and the rest of other local airlines are there. They make deals with them, say, okay, so flight number so is coming to Lagos, and we have about 50 passengers that are supposed to be flying to Port Harcourt. This airline, please fly them to Port Harcourt for us. So stand by and make sure that we can transit, And then this other airline, we have about 20 of them going to Enugu. Please stand by to take them to Enugu for us. And they pay money in foreign exchange. In the same foreign exchange they collected, the tickets of those flying in from London. In the same currency, they will pay these local airlines to move the people quickly for them. Joe, that's how it's done everywhere. So I do not understand what Father Christmas that we think we are doing that will lead these airlines to be flooding here.
But let's get it clear.
Yeah.
These airlines, yes, they have multiple routes, but they don't do domestic business.
Joe, you are not getting the point.
I get the point.
Yeah.
If you are coming from, for example, from Manchester straight to Lagos, you land in Lagos. If you are coming from Manchester to Abuja, right?
Joe, you still haven't. You still don't understand it. They shouldn't be doing that. You should
have only one destination.
One destination. Because it is Nigeria and it is Nigeria. There we know that other people are going, elsewhere. You make an arrangement for those who say, okay, we are booking to be in Port Harcourt. Then they make the deal with a local airline.
But will that not be disservice to to even our nationals that are coming in?
No, Joe, it's not a disservice. It's building the economy of Nigeria, building the aviation industry in Nigeria. Because these local airlines that are suffering right now will be making a whole lot of money in foreign exchange, and then we won't be talking like we're doing now that they have billions and billions of naira stock in central bank, but we don't have the forex to enable them move it back to their to their country. 40% of that forex liability would have been in the hands of local airlines and reduce the burden on the Central Bank of Nigeria to let them move their legitimate earnings from this country. Joe, I tell you what.
So but what you're saying is it achievable? Can we do it now?
If the man at the helm of affairs wants to do it, he can do it. But if either that he's been compromised, or that he has some personal interest, or whatever it is, or that the knowledge is not there, whatever it is.
What if that plan is there and these foreign airlines say, well, we can't do business?
Joe, let them stay away.
No,
Joe, I don't know. Joe, you are naive.
No,
Joe, let me tell you. Joe, let me tell you how naive that you're sounding. If you just listen for 1 second, if you listen for 1 second, you appreciate. Do you know these people pop champagne? Remember in the Abacha days when British Airways was banned from entering Nigeria? It was a very low time for them, and as soon as Abacha exited, and the new government made a deal and got them back. Did you see the video of how the crew of British Airways popped champagne and celebrated coming back to Nigeria? I don't know if you ever watched that clip. Joe, these guys make money they don't make anywhere else in the world in Nigeria. So stop the inferiority complex. It's just like I remember when what was the name? Emirates, started acquiring the appetite to insult Nigeria and Nigerians, and I remain the only one in this country, and perhaps in the world, that reminded them that the first 3 airplanes of Boeing 737 they ever flew, first of all, one 737 they ever flew as a nation was given to them by the magnanimity of Nigeria Airways, free of charge. Joe, later on, Nigeria Airways added 2 more 737, making total of 3. That's how, and I praise them, by the way, for their ingenuity and how they built the awesome airline called Emirates. I admire them. I must be, because I'm just imagining if we were the ones that received 3 airplanes from another nation free, if we were in this kind of attitude that we have and behavior and the way we are running our nation and our economy, I'm just imagining if we were going to be able to build an awesome airline such as Emirates that we have today. So for Emirates to wake up and then began to insult us as a people and and began to give all kinds of obnoxious conditions for services, I appeared on TVC. TVC invited me, and I appeared, and I reminded them. They were even shocked on that day to hear that history, piece of history, that a whole lot of Nigerians don't seem to know, or those who knew might have forgotten, that airline, if they remember their history, will never lift a finger against Nigeria, will never dare insult Nigeria. We gave them the very first airplane they flew as a people and as a nation, free. Come on. We are your grandfathers. We are your uncles. You should love and respect us. Even if we are suffering some misfortune because of mismanagement, or what you should be doing is not pulling the carpet from our feet. You should rather be encouraging us that we can come out of this mess. We can do it better, and with love and respect.
Yeah, I also know that some of our local airlines, doing, international flights, there are some areas that they can't even touch. Like, for example, the UAE now.
Yes.
Some of our local airlines can't even land in UAE.
That's part of the problem, Joe.
So, but how come? Is it that our own government is cool with that, is okay with that, or that's something our local airline don't have? Or what really is a problem? Because it's not only the British now that our local airline yes, it's even
Joe, the managers of our aviation sector are not helping the government. They have all the power under the law to set things the way they should be. This game is a game of tit for tat. You rub my back, I rub yours. You pinch my back, I pinch yours. No pretenses about it. That's the way it works. Serious-minded people being at the helm of affairs, and probably being there and being so. If Emirates says they want 6 slots of flight a week, I've just given an example, for instance, and our own, now that we don't have a national carrier at the moment, but let it be our own.
We have some locals.
Yes, our own, say for instance, airpiece.
Yeah, just look, because we can't keep.
No. I am talking about, Joe, just take the truth for the truth.
Yeah.
Airpiece is the largest airline in Nigeria today.
Yeah, but we can't keep mentioning that name because they are not paying.
Well, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't want to breach your ethics in this place.
If you know them, tell them to come and tell us.
All right, we are discussing national affairs. Okay, I do get your point. I'm a stickler for the law. I don't like breaking rules, and I don't like breaking laws. Your point is well taken and well noted. Our own airlines here who can afford to do those trips and who have the type of airplanes that should be able to do the thing.
Or even better ones.
Or even better ones. The negotiation should be that if you're getting 6 slots for Nigeria. Our own airlines should get the same equal number of slots for your own country. Imagine the effrontery and the cheek of that time that we had those crises with Emirates. We can come and do almost nine flights, sometimes even 12, 2 a day. They will land in Lagos in the morning, and another one will land in Abuja in the evening, and then they had the effrontery to say, for Nigeria you can only get 2. For goodness sake, who do they think they are? And we had a minister who was there and tolerating those. Joe, I was running crazy in my house when that thing was going on, and I was like, what's wrong with my people? For goodness sake, tell these people to go to hell. Stay in your country if you don't need our business. If you need our business, this is the condition. If you get 6, our own gets 6. It's a business of tit for tat. You see, come on, Joe. I don't know how a big and the wealthiest nation in Africa, the wealthiest in Africa. Forget about the temporary setbacks, which is just product of corruption. If a serious-minded team of administrators and managers want to recover Nigeria's money, even locally, we know where these monies are. Joe, even those in government know. Look around Abuja, for instance, just for example. Look around Abuja. You see government money everywhere, littered in empty houses and empty mansions that nobody can tell you, if you were to lay hands on them, nobody can tell you how the money that were used to purchase them came about, or were used to build them came about. These are easy things that can be traced and the economy fixed in such a way that people will earn fair living and live well. Everybody mustn't be a multi-millionaire to be happy. No. Joe, money is important in life, I agree. But I tell you what, it constitutes only 40% of what makes us happy. A whooping 60% is other conditions that have nothing to do with money. Joe, that's true. If you doubt me, ask God to make you a billionaire tomorrow and take the rest away from you. Joe, you will throw away all your billions to get yourself good health, to get yourself happiness, joy. You will throw them away. If you doubt it, pray today and ask God to make you a billionaire and take everything else away. So you have all your billions of dollars and your billions of naira, and your joy, happiness, and health, and the rest of them will be taken away. Joe, you will throw those monies away. That's one thing we haven't understood as a people.
In one word, our time is flying fast.
Yes.
How can we fix the aviation sector? Yes, it's a good one. The minister has given NCAA this order.
Yeah.
But there are many other things that need to be done. Many other things. Flight cancellation is still there. There are airlines that sell, only they allow you to pay in naira when it is exorbitant. You can pay in naira, but if it's cheap, you pay in dollars. So there are many issues, In one word,
yeah. At the moment, I hold Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika responsible at the moment. And that's why I say that I found what he said. I watched him on TV last night, and I found it the sweetest thing I've ever heard from his mouth, this year. And so the next point is he going to follow it through, or is he one of those dressing of words and making them sound sweet and good, and at the end of the day everything gets back under the table and in the trash can, and then business as usual will continue. I need to see action, and action is as simple as ABC. It's as simple as telling them this is what you must do and ensure that they do it, and if they don't do it, you release the hammer. You slam the hammer right there and tell them this is the limit. We can't have this. And that's it. Even if they all decide to stay in their countries and say to us, don't also come, Joe, better for us. They need us more than we need them. Don't fool yourself. Don't ever think that these guys are better than we are. They are not. They just created for themselves a system that is working, and everybody is feeling the euphoria of a beautiful environment and a beautiful working system. But in reality, most of the wealth that they enjoy there, they take from us. And some of us look on helplessly. If you don't have the power to insist that things should be done, appropriately, what can you do? You can only grumble like I'm doing right now on air and before the world, that we should get harder and tell the world that we know our value, that we know who we are, and we know what we have, and that you need us as much as we need you. It's not a one-way traffic. Then the world will begin to learn to respect us. And then, more importantly, fix our judicial system. So that if there is a matter today, there's a court to go, you heard today, tomorrow next, a decision is made, everyone will sit up, Joe, including the foreigners that come here. Everyone will sit up. And if any airline misbehaves, instantly they call you, oh, please come. No quarrels. This is why this is happening, and this is your compensation for this inconvenience, like I enjoyed in Texas. If that same airline, I refuse to mention their name, they do come to Nigeria. They come to Nigeria.
German airline, actually.
Joe, you're the one that mentioned. Yeah, I remember I told you the story before. I told you the story before.
German airline.
Yes, I told you the story before. That's why you know but I didn't mention on this program the airline. Yeah, but what I'm saying in effect is that if they were...
The good thing with that is that
yes,
they respect the law of their country. They, exported that respect for the law of their country to another country.
No, it's not about the law of their country. It's about that country that they were in.
And again, they know that the country they are in
will enforce it.
That's the point.
Yes, but if that same thing were to happen here in Nigeria, that airline will not say a word to any Nigerian, because they know that nothing will happen, and they will get away with it. We'll make noise in the airport, break things like I saw some passengers doing the other time, which was very unfortunate. Run their mouths and cause commotion here and there, and then go home. How is that a solution? What if we had a judicial system that everybody in the world respects and fears? For goodness sake, Joe, they won't do it. They won't do it. So, fixing Nigeria is as easy as ABC. Just one or two areas to be fixed, and everything else will follow and fall into place. Number one, judiciary.
Thank you so very much for your time with us on the program this morning. Of course, you heard it from the aviation freak, now turned into aviation researcher and publisher. Of course, so many publications to his name. I'm sure one of those these is going to compile all of that into a book, and we get to see some of those things, read them, and then pass them on to the next generation. I told you earlier, it's one of those that few Nigerian Airways when it was at 5 naira per seat.
Oh yes, I did.
All right, thank you so much.
When I was known as Must Fly.
Must Fly.
Must Fly, yes.
All right, thank you so much for your time.
Well, oh, please, my pleasure. My dear viewers, thanks for being there for us.
Yeah, thank you so much. You know him. He used to be here every Monday morning. Don't worry, that will be back in a short while. We'll be having him again every Monday morning. We'll take a quick break now and we'll come back. The program continues.